Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DRC Digital Racing Championship. I am your commentator, Definitely 10 for Tier 2, Season 4, Round 8. I didn't change the name of the stream. That's my bad. Anyway, I'm joined by two commentators today. I'm joined by my good friend Vlad and our new commentator, Red. How you two doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Red, you
You
good?
know how it is. Yeah, you
Good.
know how it is. Surviving,
Surviving,
going
good.
through this. Yeah.
I did realise I didn't change it to Tier 2 DRC. It says Tier 1. That's wrong. It's Tier 2. Been a bit stressed trying to get the stream working. I do apologise. And I think, Vlad, it proves your point that I'm not doing my job very well.
Yep, that was my statement before this because you started the stream a minute too late.
Well, I did, and I do apologise for that. Everyone is in apart from Red. Red needs to get in, so he can.
Yeah,
Watch,
just
of
a few
course.
minutes. He's just fixing a couple of issues on his end. Make sure your viewing experience is the best.
So, Vlad, recap from.
Why do you keep doing this to
Well,
me?
because Vlad, I couldn't stream it last weekend.
You could have watched it.
Yes, but this is
All
for the viewers.
in its 720 pixels.
This is for the viewers that didn't watch it.
Okay. It was like 5 safety cars or something.
Okay.
That's the main point. That's the main part of last week. What else happened? I can't remember who won. I know it was a good win.
It's a good win from someone, but we can't remember who.
Uh,
You'd think we'd do research before these streams, wouldn't you?
yeah, we should really start. It was quite a. Oh, it was Penguin. Penguin won.
Penguin won. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, he had a very good win. He almost got a Grand Slam.
And with
Strong performance.
with 3 races remaining, we head into a round 8. Is that correct? Yes.
I
Round
hope
8
so.
in Singapore, with Penguin leading the way on 108 points, followed by Striker on 71. There's quite a big points gap there. Then Juno on 64 and Pockets on 4. Sorry, on Pockets on 57 in 4th. Christ. Right. And in the terms of constructor standings, Alpine lead the constructor standings on 154 points, Red Bull 137, and Mercedes 135. We head to Singapore, personal favourite track of mine, and Vlad, I think we both enjoy Singapore.
Yeah, it's a good track. It's very difficult to ride, especially with the walls closing up on you on every single exit in the AVX. But it's a fun track to watch. Not the best for overtaking a lot of places, but I think the drivers we have today will see some good moves trying to be pulled.
And I think we're actually having a lobby restart here, because people seem to be disconnecting.
Lobby's restarting.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you for telling me the lobby is restarting.
You
So,
can't stay stranger, that's what you say.
yes, stranger. Hello, stranger. Goodbye, stranger. Right, the stranger is gone, but he tells me the lobby is restarting. So, tell me when you're in a lobby, Vlad, and I'll join you.
Right.
I think Striker's still hosting, so join Striker boy.
Let me see. He is in the lobby, yep.
Okay, cool. Right, so we'll just take a minute to wait for the stream to load up. Vlad has the chat ready to tell me how everything sounds.
Nobody seems to be complaining, so
So good.
yep.
Good. Well, let's hope that stays the same way. I'd like to once again apologise for the lack of streams. First of all, on the midweek, no BTCC or ACF1, and there hasn't been. Well, there has been Tier 2 streams, but not with 2 commentators, me and Vlad, because I've been having PC issues. And it turns out, Vlad, that not only was it a HDMI cable problem, but streaming causes my PC to die. So we had to switch to CPU, and hopefully this has solved the issue.
Yeah, it's not a good problem in your line of work, but
No, turns out streaming is quite important for me. So let's hope nothing breaks.
the DRC experience. I almost said the old name there.
Yes, so yes, let's mention that. Why don't we? While we're waiting for people to join. So RTTF is gone. It's no more. We are now Digital Racing Championship, and I personally, I know people are getting used to it. I quite like the new rebrand.
And the logo as well. Very like striking colours.
Yeah, the logo. You can see the new logo on your stream right now, and also something for the first time we've had in a long time. The Discord is actually correct
Oh my god!
on
You can
stream.
actually join this
So
time.
when I say if you use the Discord link, you could actually join it because that's correct, unlike it was for the last 3 months. But anyway, anyway, enough complaining. We're still waiting. Perryland likes the name. Well, thank you, Perryland. See, Perryland's a big supporter of the name, and design looks cool. I think it looks really good. So hopefully everyone will get more used to it, and we can have a good, fun afternoon. Have you been watching the World Cup, Vlad? I'm trying to fill gaps.
I've been watching a few matches just when they're there. I don't really go on my way, but it seems to be ramping up quite well.
Yep, big match tonight with Leo Messi's Argentina. If they lose tonight, they are out of the World Cup in the group stages, and that would be so disappointing for him. Big Leo Messi fan myself, so if he goes out tonight, that would be a real shame. It's at 7 p.m. I was hoping to watch the game, but as usual, Striker Boys lobby hosting takes some time. That's not a dig, Striker, it's just true.
Working about lobbing hosties. Oh god, hosting lobbies.
Yeah,
That was a dig.
it wasn't a dig, but we have quite a full grid this afternoon. 16 people.
Oh wow, yeah.
Absolute
Oh,
chaos around Singapore, I feel.
16 people packed around the tight streets of the Marina Bay.
Yes, Marina Bay. Actually, thinking about it, I don't have my. So usually, let's a bit of behind the scenes here. I usually have a laptop which has the stream on it, and it also has a track map that I use. But I don't know where my laptop is at the moment, so I don't have that. So I don't have a track map. But luckily, my good friend Vlad does have a track map and will be reading out a lap time when I tell him to.
Yep, I now have a track map.
Good. It's good to know you have a track map.
Okay, I'm not going to use that one because there's no call names around here. I don't think. Oh, there is. It's just the names of the streets,
Yeah,
and
the
that's
street
boring.
names.
So
Yeah, you use the corner numbers, not the street names. Because can you speak? What language do they speak in Singapore? Maybe Red knows.
oh,
Red, do you know what language
Well-
they speak in Singapore?
As far as I know, they mostly speak Malay or Malaysian and a bit of English. From what I've heard from my dad, I've never been to Singapore honestly, but yeah, that's what I know.
Well,
I have
Red,
I've
once again.
googled
Google. What does Google say?
Malay, Tamil, Singaporean Mandarin, English, and Mandarin Chinese. So a good host of languages spoken in Singapore.
Ejin said Cantonese. That wasn't on the list. So Ejin, that's not Ejin.
Cantonese is another word for Cantonese is another word for Chinese. You know, I'm pretty sure.
You're not reading. There's some
It's related.
There's some great stuff in chat you're not reading, Vlad. One, Striker is slower than Ferrari at changing strategies. That was gold, and you didn't read it.
Okay, I was wrong. Mandarin Cantonese is different. I think at least close edging. I
Is
feel
that
like I've heard
actually,
them
is that actually
together.
Ejin though? Because some people
Yeah,
have
edge and
their-
K.
Edge and K, okay. Because some people have their
Yeah,
names at
it's-
Ejin at the
it's
moment,
Cormac.
and I'm not sure if it's actually Ejin.
No, it is
Okay,
the real hashtag edging.
it's the hashtag real Ejin.
The goat of RTTF.
It's not cool. You can't say that anymore. We're gonna get
Well,
sued.
Okay, let me just Google.
Well, when I was on the grid, he was quick, quite quick. So
He's
yeah.
fast everywhere.
Yeah, not faster than me. Clearly, Vlad. You've seen. I've raced
Okay.
him.
I've also googled again. Well, you might be surprised. This is what Google says. Well, you might be surprised to learn that there are close to zero similarities spoken between Mandarin and spoken Cantonese. So I was very wrong.
Well, we're learning so much today here at Digital Racing Channel. This is what you can expect from the 3 best commentators in the business.
Yes.
Actually, I think have I got anything more to fill? I'm trying to think of things to fill, but are
We
we
can plug
starting?
every social media we have.
Yes, that's a good thing. So, Twitch is now Digital Racing Championship at twitch.com. Our YouTube channel is now Digital Racing Championship at YouTube. I assume it's that. What else do we have, lad?
We have an Instagram.
Yes, it's the Is it Digital Racing Championship?
Let me just pull up the tag.
Pull up the tag, lad.
It's just Digital Racing Championship, all one thing.
Yep, check that on Instagram.
Do we have a Twitter?
Do we have a Twitter? Hang on, I'm getting it in. I don't have anyone on my ear, so I can't tell. No Twitter. Edgen says no Twitter. So there's no Twitter.
PayPal.
Do we have?
Give us money.
Yeah, Vlad, you can't just
Oh,
ask
I
people
think
to
it's
give you
PayPal.
money. That's not how that works.
I want more than beans.
Edgen, we don't like Elon. Edgen, can we not get shut down by Elon? Come on. I like my job.
Elon's gonna buy Twitch next just to shut us down.
Oh my god, it could happen.
Let's move to the grail of YouTube. Oh, Edgen believes he will purchase the Twitch.
Well, hang on, guys. Sorry, we're starting F1. I know we're talking about Mandarin and stuff like that, but we're actually going to start F1.
Tonight's main event. We didn't know what's happening.
Tonight's main event is the Singapore Grand Prix in Tier 2. I know the stream says Tier 1, but it's lying to you.
It's the stream's fault as well.
It's the
not
stream's
ours.
fault, not my fault. I didn't make this. Oh, I know I did make the stream. Hang on. I think actually thinking about it, I think that widget that I haven't turned the widget off that says racing to the fullest in the top right corner.
Oh my god.
It's still on there? Oh no, it's not on the screen.
Track map ready. I am ready to pull us through a lap.
And also F1 is being a pain and not showing up on the stream. There it is. Thank God for that. Ow, I've just hit my knee on my desk. That really hurts.
You know, right? Today I injured my back.
You injured your back?
Yeah.
Well, my back's always hurting from carrying you.
Okay.
Wow.
I could make a joke here, but I don't think it's family friendly enough.
I don't know why I said that. I was in a really weird mood today. But yeah, it's you know it's F1 day, Digital Racing Championship, Singapore, and hoping my stream doesn't die. It's fun. And if it does die, then it's down to Vlad to stream.
Which I know we all love.
We all love a Vlad stream,
720p and 30 FPS. Because I don't know how to set it up properly. Yeah.
Currently just waiting for Rota to join the session. But once we're in, we're in.
The only thing I remember Rota from is his like 11 positions gained or something in Bahrain, and he was completely silent about it. We saw nothing of him the entire race.
Oh, Rota. Yeah, that is one thing I do remember about Rota. I do remember that.
It's the only thing I remember about Rota actually.
So who's your prediction for pole in Singapore? It's you know it's a track where if you get it right, you could get Lewis Hamilton, but if you get it wrong, you could do Nicholas Latifi.
Yes.
What end are you? What end on the
There's
scale?
walls. There's some strong contenders here. I think Scrub maybe. I know this is one of his favorite tracks. I think that was contradiction. Obviously we've seen Valads. He was strong around Monaco, another street track.
True.
As well as France. We've seen the pace of the Red Bulls, Labadin Penguin, and maybe another Ramon as well. Ramon winning in Italy. He clearly has the pace as well. So once again, a lot of contenders for pole position here. We've seen that all throughout the season.
There's a man we can't rule out though. A man that's a commentator favourite, and he currently resides in Alfa Romeo. And it's the man who can always put a pole lap, but can never finish a race. And it's Thunder Fox, currently in the garage.
Yeah, we've seen his pace, but just still lacking a consistency during the races that he might need to finish them, or score points even.
And we have a car coming out on the track. Who is that car? And it is Dragon in the Williams coming out. I'm trying to remember the buttons.
Coming out as well.
Thank you. What is the button to get into cockpit cam? I can't remember.
It's F5,
F5. No, it's not.
F6. Sorry.
F6. There we go. Okay, hell. You think I hadn't done this for a few weeks, wouldn't you? Uh, so, how many corners are around the Singapore circuit, Vlad?
23.
23 corners. So, and not a lot of overtaking spots, as we've proven not only in racing, in online racing, but also in real racing.
Yeah, there's not many long straights in here, and the corners are tight, but the lead with them it just isn't long enough for the drivers to make overtakes around here. And there is a few DRS zones to help them along the way, but even they don't assist them enough for a lot of overtakes around here.
And obviously, in next year's Singapore Grand Prix, the track is actually being changed in the third sector. It's going to have basically a back straight all the way towards the final corner. So this whole, well, after this sector here, the whole sort of under the stand is going away, which will be a shame because I actually really like this middle sector, but drivers are saying it's too fiddly and doesn't allow for overtaking. But I really enjoy driving it.
It is fun to drive, fun to watch as well, but I think in terms of racing, it will make it a bit more exciting.
Yeah, and it's also a pain to navigate when it's raining, which is quite a lot in Singapore. I'm surprised it's not raining in the quali, but yeah, normally it's quite rainy.
It's true. So Vlad, take us through this lap
With who?
with Dragon.
Dragon. Okay, let me find him.
He
Okay. So into the almost sharp left-hander, you just extend the track limits all the way over to the wall there, and full throttle down here, small kink to the right. This corner's faster than you think it is. Then you get up against the wall on the curb here. Then you come down the DRS zone. The small kink to the right here, easily found in these cars, basically doesn't exist. Now coming into a sharp left-hander, the curb on the left is quite high up, but it won't beat you. And again, another right-hander, it's 90 degrees. Doesn't extend the exit as much as he could have, but I don't think it'll affect his lap too much. A difficult corner to get right, especially with the barrier extending more than you think it might. Because you have to switch over left, then into the technical section here. Right-hander, and then over the bridge. The curb can unsettle your car there, as you almost saw it do there. And take a quite wide line, and then he takes very, very deep. Then good exit out of this corner. You get the DRS quite early, as the drivers might need it to overtake around here. Then up to the wall and down the right-hander, and again up to the wall. Obviously, it's a street track. Left hand brings on into a right-hander. Difficult corner to get right on the brakes. Then that corner is tiny little bit awkward. Then into the technical section here under the bridge. No, that will be removed next year. Then into another chicane coming through here. Sweeping left-hander coming onto the final corner. Very, very fast. You can take a lot of curve around here. It doesn't unsettle the car too much. Up the hill and he crosses the line to set a 139.658.
That is obviously at the moment provisional pole as LEW crosses the line to beat that with a 139.4. And I think Track Evolution, as we see this, well, we saw this season in Singapore, Red. I know we had a wet qualifying, but Track Evolution was huge around here.
It was. Like as we've been saying, it's a street track. So the more rubber you lay onto the track, the more grip you get. Which I'd assume it's more than a track like Silverstone, I'd say.
Yeah, especially around here, the track can get quite wet as well if it does start to rain, because normal race tracks are built to get rid of water, because obviously the cars are quite low, they lose a lot of slick tyres, but around here, there already isn't rubber laid on the racing line, so that does play a lot of a hand into it, and if it starts to get wet, it gets very, 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 very quickly.
Exactly, and like Singapore has brilliant drainage because of the severity of the rain it gets, but that's made for the civilian roads they have, not the racetrack. So that also plays into the water that a track holds normally.
Well, if we can get some rain for this race, I think it will make it a lot more entertaining, a lot easier to overtake in the wet around here, especially on the F1 game. But currently MKL sitting on pole position, or provisional pole, with 138.1. No one into the 137s yet, but Striker Boy setting a blistering pace at the moment. Fastest Sector 1, fastest Sector 2, and he's been known to be quick in his Mercedes-Benz.
I think we will see a 37 here. So it's obviously just the start of the session. People will be learning the track a bit more, and like you said, track evolution. So I don't think 37 is outside the realms of possibility, especially some of the faster drivers we have here.
Striker is coming up to the line now through the final corner. Lets off a bit on the throttle there, but it's nice to the line. And that's a 1:37.5, our first blistering time around the streets of Singapore, and that is one hell of a time for the drivers to chase.
Big gap there between him and MKL. I wonder if the other drivers have made a mistake on that lap, because that is an impressive lap time compared to everywhere else. We've seen them have good pace throughout the rest of the season, but a 6/10 gap is not really something we've seen from anybody, really.
And that is a huge gap. Scrub at the moment hasn't got his lap invalidated. Penguin hasn't set a lap time on the board. I think he's just finishing a lap now. So we're going to see where the Red Bull driver is. Obviously, he is currently top of the driver's standing. Striker Boy is the man trying to chase him down. There is quite a point deficit at the top. Can Penguin get near Striker Boy's lap time on pole? So into the 1:37s as well, but still quite the big gap between the two drivers. But Penguin, for the next 3 weekends, all he's got to do is have 3 clean weekends, and he should be drivers' champion.
Yeah, he's put himself in good positions from other races in the season. But is Striker Boy second currently?
Yeah, so Striker Boy is second in the standings. I think it's probably about a 30-point gap between the two drivers.
Yeah, it's a very good position for him, but that is still recoverable. If Penguin say makes a mistake and Striker Boy comes through to get a good position, because you can only gain 6 points per race if you win and they finish seconds, which obviously isn't enough because that's only 18 points compared to 30 points that he needs to win. But with C Striker have the pace, can Penguin just keep consistent enough to win the title? That's all he needs to do at this point. He doesn't really need to be pushing hard and setting lap times during the races. He just needs to get a good position throughout the races.
I think obviously Red, you haven't been here this season, but what we've seen mostly is Penguin has been always supported by his teammate Labadane, and unfortunately Juno has just been a bit further off Striker Boy. So Rebel have had the teammate, and unfortunately Striker in a lot of occasions hasn't.
Yeah, that seems that by the leaderboard, that's what it's been seeming to me. Since that's what I gathered after all. But yeah, it seems like the Red Bulls have quite a good partnership going on. But on the other end, the Alpine as well have quite a massive gap, a sizable gap, not massive. On the constructors end, a 20-point lead. So I'd say the Alpine drivers are in with a shot as well. Not for the drivers' championship, but yeah, with the constructors, I'd say
Yeah,
they're putting the teamwork for standing at fourth and fifth right now. Pockets invalid. Not a bad stretch. There's just 3 points away from each other.
yeah. Pockets has been mighty this season. He's been actually close to pole position on a few occasions. And everyone coming out again, and I think Vlad, something that we should mention, obviously Singapore is a 1:38, 1:37 lap time, but it's a long out lap around here as well. So the drivers are only going to get probably about 3 laps to do.
Yeah, that's it would be difficult. Just for the drivers to learn the track, because you make a mistake on one lap, that's going to hurt your chances massively. Because it's 1/5 of your lap gone pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone coming out for their second set of flying lap. 2 people yet to set, 3 people yet to set respectable lap times. Juno, Fake, and Jacob, who is sort of towards the back of the grid. I wonder if he's planning to start at the back of the grid, but that will be quite the struggle. Jacob, obviously, currently P1 in the Tier 1 driver standings. I don't know who his main challenger is. I don't know who it is. Vlad, do you know who it is?
Wow, you gonna make me do this?
I don't know who it is. It's just a solid question.
I don't know, Death. Is it maybe you?
It might be, maybe. I don't think so though. Like, why would a commentator be there? It sounds a bit silly to me, honestly. But anyway, back to the Tier 2 racing. Striker on pole as it stands with a 1:37.5. Then Penguin 1:37.9. MKL 1:38.1. MKL, another guy who came in from a different racing league and has absolutely shone in our Tier 2. I read you haven't obviously seen him race, but he is a very quick driver.
looks like it. He's not that far off the pace from the top two right now, and he's on his outlap. Um, we're Are we following him? No, we're not following him on the stream. But yeah, he seems to be quite has a decent pace going through it. He is just two tenths off of Penguin, and I mean the only datum I have in here on the top is Penguin. So yeah, he seems to have quite a good pace.
And while we're talking about MKL's pace, Jacob Snacks, obviously P1 in the Tier 1 driver standing, sets a 1:37.4. Quite the lap time for pole position, only a tenth faster than Striker Boy. Maybe it proves that Striker Boy is just a very quick driver, lad.
Yeah, he's obviously Jakob putting. I've actually drove with Jakob before. He invited me to join a league race 5 minutes before it started,
As you
which
do.
was very stressful. Obviously, no practice, didn't have a set or anything, but I got it in, and I was going to go for a pole. I did get pole position, but he had some blistering pace. I didn't know. I didn't even know how fast he was, and then he was catching me with like 3/10 a lap on. Granted, softer tires and well, actually no older tires as well though. But yeah, he's blisteringly fast, and yeah, obviously Strike Boy has got a lot of pace.
And Thunderfox putting in a time for third, 1:37.8. Thunderfox, I think as Red heard us talk earlier, is very quick in qualifying pace, but he's only had one podium this season that came in Monaco, and that was mostly due to other people making mistakes. But he has been on pole, is it 3 times this season, Vlad, almost, I think? And he hasn't converted
Yeah, I
one
believe
to a
something around
pole?
there.
One to a win, sorry.
Yeah, it's difficult season for him, but hopefully we'll see him, especially next season. Maybe have a better one, get some more wins in, because we've seen this pace, but we haven't seen the results.
And Striker's pace improves there with a 1:37.3, 10th faster than Jacob Snacks to put himself back on pole position. Got a couple of yellow flags out there at the moment. I think people are just preparing for fast laps. 4 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. MKL is just pushing for his lap, so we're going to see where he can put his Alpha Tauri. Obviously, reserve drivers like MKL aren't in the main drivers' standings, but they do have their own reserve drivers' championship for this season. MKL crosses the line, doesn't improves by a tenth, but not enough to jump into the top 5. Penguin put in a time of a 1:37.7 to improve. But at the moment, it's Striker, Jacob, Penguin, Thunderfox, Pockets, MKL, Ramon, Labadane, Rota, and Juno, who improves to 10th. So that is your top 10. But Juno, I'm sure, as we've mentioned before, Vlad, would love to be a lot closer to Striker Boy.
Yeah, it's difficult because he is his teammate. And it doesn't look good, especially when they are your teammates. Well, cars are equal, but it's not the best light to have on you. Well, I hope we can see him improve. And see Dragon Lolly as well. Still in the pits, and the session's close to ending. He hasn't set a different lap time from when he started, which obviously wasn't, well, considerably a good lap time since he is 14th. He did make a lot of mistakes on that lap, so I don't know why he hasn't come out and do a lot more. He has had the time. He
And
just hasn't really done anything.
Dragon has been very quick recently in qualifying sessions, consistently in that top 5 slot. So we hope that he gets another lap time in that Williams. Juno, I'm sure, could improve for a mid 1:38. Maybe if he could out-qualify Labadane, that would help Striker Boy out in terms of qualifying. Sorry, in terms of the teammate battle, and obviously the constructors championships. I think Pockets the only AlphaTauri driver. Not AlphaTauri, Alpine driver today, or is there another Alpine?
It looks like he's the only European driver today. Yeah, I don't know where his teammate is
So
or who Valid.
Valid isn't here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the Alpine battle. Reserves just not being applied to that team. Obviously, probably just to make the season a bit more exciting because it doesn't look like Alpine really need the help when they're leading the championship right now. So yeah, it'll put a lot of pressure on Pockets, but I think he will have a good run throughout this race. He's still P5. Good position to start, especially on circuit where you can't really overtake that much. Hopefully, we can see him make something of it in the race.
So Red, we just saw Striker, MKL, and Penguin all pull into the pits there. With 2 minutes 20 on the clock, have they got enough time to come out for another flying lap?
I don't think so, honestly. an outlap is quite slow, as we've mentioned here. Um, so they'd really have to push both the outlap and the flying lap, which will obviously take a toll on their tires. Which is at this point quite a big risk. I personally wouldn't come out to do a flying lap, seeing how like they have pretty much the first tops locked up. We have quite a distance between Penguin and Jacob Snacks. Jacob Snacks.
Just
I'll,
Jacob. Yeah,
Jacob. Yeah,
Jacob.
Snack.
Jacob's fine.
Snacks. I'll just call
Anything
him
works.
Snacks.
Snacks. I should call him Snacks. Definitely.
Snacks.
He'd
That's
love that.
easier. So yeah, he has like 3/10, just over 3/10 on him on Penguin. So I'd say he's comfy up there. MKL, he's already on his outlap, so probably he'll push. I don't see Dragon coming out. He already has a fractured wrist, and the time he's put in it's decent for with fractured wrist.
A
So
fractured
yeah,
wrist. Is that the reason why he's slow?
that's what he's saying in the chat. So
Why
can
didn't you pick that up, Vlad?
confirm.
I had the track map open and then
Oh,
didn't close it.
well, if that is true, then Dragon, I hope you get better. But if it's not true and you're lying, pick up the pace.
And me without a fractured wrist, I'd still probably not put in a 139.6. So yeah, he's good.
Yeah. And Thunderfox is invalidated. We were watching him and he's already invalidated his lap, so that is his qualifying over with. That is, once again, he's done another mistake.
Oh, and LGW was spun as well. Come around the final corner almost. This is the penultimate corner, sorry.
He was 3/10
It
up in the
looks
middle
like he's about to
sector.
improve. Yeah.
He's not going to be able to spin that
It's
back
really
round.
unfortunate. That would have put him, well, 2 positions up probably.
He's got to spin that back round or he's going to get disqualified. Labadane retires from the session. Has he hit the wall?
He's just keeping the car moving at the moment.
No, I think Labadane's hit the wall.
Labadane. Yeah, speaking of teammates with Strike One Juno, Labadane also not in place with his teammate with Penguin. So the two IRL rivals of last year, or the
Wow.
two, yeah, the teammates just aren't putting as much of the work in that they need to.
So Penguin is on a flying lap right now. He's a 10th up in the first sector. Jacob is a 10th up in the middle sector. Striker Boy finished his lap, didn't improve his qualifying time. There is still a chance that Jacob could steal this pole position away from Striker Boy that he desperately needs if he wants any chance of mounting a title comeback. Jacob through the final couple of corners. They're smooth through the final corner. Can he keep it flat to the floor? Is it going to be Jacob or is it going to be Striker? Jacob with a 1:37.2 puts himself onto provisional pole, but Penguin is still out there pushing pockets, putting in a time for P3. That's a brilliant time from the Alpine driver, but what is happening with the Red Bull driver of Penguin? He's 2/10 up in the middle sector. That's a purple middle sector.
Some monster lap from Jakob there. 1.5 tenths up on Striker Boy and then almost 4 tenths up on P3 Pockets. So that's definitely his true pace there. But yeah, Penguin, Mills, Purple Sector 2. I wonder what he can do with the rest of this lap. It was only 2 tenths up on his previous lap, which wouldn't be enough for pole. It would only be enough for around P3. But if he puts in a good Sector 3 here, we might see him go into the top 3 or even the front row. He's about to cross the line now.
And he drops to 5th.
He dropped to 5th. MKL putting in a lap for P4 right at the death of the session. And that changes the grid on with the current Drivers' Championship leader only starting the Singapore Grand Prix in 5th. Jacob is on pole, followed by Striker, Pocket, MKL, Penguin, Thunderfox in 6th, Ramon in 7th. Labadane will start 8th, Juno will start 9th, and Rota will start in your top 10. So Penguin only starting 5th for a race that you can't overtake. That could be a big shift in the title if something happens in that midfield battle.
Yeah, that will really affect his chances. Because he does have a big lead, but the points drop when you start going out of the top 3 is massive in terms of points you get. So if he can't recover positions, or even loses more positions, since he is starting further down midfield, that will really affect his chances massively.
With Labadane P8, Juno P9, so that's going to be the battle between the second drivers at Mercedes and Red Bull. Thunderfox is is in 6th, MKL in 4th with Pockets. The 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 surprise of qualifying in P3. I was trying to think of the word, but that is qualifying over with. And we have an interesting front row for the Singapore Grand Prix. Are we going to get rain? And are we going to get an exciting race? And I think Vlad and Red, I think we're going to guarantee an exciting race here.
Yeah, even though it is a difficult track, I think we'll see. Yeah, drivers trying to get positions, especially around a track that's hard to overtake. Watching overtakes is much better, I think.
And Red, you agree with the statement? This is going to be a good race.
Oh, most definitely. Singapore is always a good race. The strategies will play a big role, whether it rains or not. We'll see how Penguin pulls up from 5th. I think he'll rely more on strategy than straight out overtaking on this track. That would be a better idea than just going aggressive on this track.
Well, that is what we have for your grid order today, and this could be a very fun race. Doesn't look like it's raining at the moment, so it will be a dry start for Singapore with 17 drivers lined up, and with 30 seconds to go, we're going to have a Singapore Grand Prix to remember here at the rebranded. Can't remember the name.
Digital Racing Championship.
Digital Racing Championship. Thank you very much.
Formerly RTTF.
Formerly RTF.
Worrying that you don't know our name.
I gotta get used to it. Don't worry.
I was actually surprised when I suddenly saw the RTTF logo vanish. I was confused for a bit, and then I realized, it's DRC now.
But here we go
Right.
for 5 red lights. And we're underway here at Singapore. It's a good start from the front two. Jacob gets the better start as we head down into turn 1. Jacob leads ahead of Striker Boy. There's a battle going on between Pockets and MKL. Pockets now defending... Pockets now ahead of MKL. Ramon attacking him. Then comes Thunderfox. Juno making up a few places at the start of the race. Rota also making a few places at the start. But Jacob, perfect start off the line there, keeping his P1. Then comes Striker Boy, Pocket, MKL, Ramon, Thunderfox, Juno, Rota, Labadane, and LDW, your top 10. Penguin has dropped down to 11th at the start of the race.
It's a really unfortunate start for him. I mean, the start's been very clean, as I say, as Scrub gets spun around there, but that was, I think, barely any contact around a street circuit. A tight T1 like that. That is very impressive. Again, really unfortunate for Penguin, out of the points after just 10 corners around that.
And looks like he's starting on the hards. Is he going for a one-stop round here now?
Oh, there's a contact at the back between Nut and Dragon. Dragon goes straight to the back. There's massive damage at the back of the grid. Front wings everywhere. And hopefully they can clean that up. Check the change in the starting positions. Most gains from that was Fake getting 4. Most losses, obviously Penguin dropping 6 places. But most of the top 4 staying the same. As we will now head on and we can see the tyre usage. No one opting for the softs, everyone opting for the mediums or the hards. Jacob on the mediums, everyone behind him up to Thunderfox on the hard set of tyre.
Jakob's still leading. Top 3 hasn't changed. Jakob already pulling a 6/10 gap to Striker Boy, and Pocket's almost dropping out of DRS range before it even starts. I think we'll probably see him start to push a bit more and try and get back into DRS range. That's really imperative for getting overtakes around this track.
Thunderfox really pushing Ramon here. Obviously, medium tyres will have a massive advantage over the hard runners here at the start of the races. There's some enthralling battles happening behind. There's another crash towards the back of the grid. This one not involving Penguin, but there's an Aston Martin round the back. There's everything start kicking off here, but there's a slow Rota as well, as there's some wheel-to-wheel battles as LDW gets put into the wall by Labadane. I think Labadane's going to try and help his teammate through, but here comes LDW up the inside of Labadane, and he makes the move stick. Brilliant move from the McLaren driver.
Yeah, it's Just got a bit of a better run there. Used a lot of the DRS to get past him, and later on the brakes in the corner, you will never really see any overtakes around you, around that corner, going into it. Especially since you are at a disadvantage coming through the next corner, because we'll have the inside unless the. Oh, someone back on LDW gets spun around by
Oh,
Labadane, and then contact
Penguin
between
hits
him
him.
and Penguin again as well.
And Penguin, has he got any front wing damage from that?
Doesn't look like it, but it's all coming out for like all coming undone for Penguin right now. From
He's just got
fifth
passed by
to
2 drivers again, then he gets hit again. LDW gets even worse for him. Getting overtaken by Scrub and then Crew following through, and then on the exit just tags Fake and that spins him around. He has got wing damage from that, so we will see him box. A lot of positions lost in the span of about 30 seconds there for LDW.
And Thunderfox now pressurizing Ramon. Obviously, DRS is
Ooh.
enabled. There's like
I'm
there's a
sorry.
big crash towards the back of the grid. What happened there? Is there going to be a safety car? And it looks like there is a safety car. People pulling into the pits. What happened? We obviously didn't see it on stream. What happened?
I was just on board with LDW there. He was coming around the penultimate corner. And Heinel he spun out, pretty much stopped on the racing line. He wasn't moving or anything. And LDW just didn't really react and pretty much drove into him.
Well, there is a full caution safety car out here on lap 3 of 31 around Singapore. The safety car, not uncommon around Singapore. Every Singapore Grand Prix ever has had a safety car. So we keep that 100% record going here at the Singapore Grand Prix for Tier 2, Round 8, Season 4. And pretty much the top 6 has stayed the same from the start, apart from the big surprise at the moment, Penguin sitting just in P10, and Pickle Rick picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
It's very unfortunate. It can be difficult to get it right when you're trying to catch up as fast as possible. You know, it won't matter too much, but I think if you're in safety car conditions, there's no point really risking getting a speeding penalty for just trying to catch up to the safety car and getting pits earlier if you need to.
And
But it can be hard to get right sometimes.
I don't know, Red, if you saw what happened at the start, but was it wheel spin for Penguin? Those hard tyres clearly not working for him at the start of the race.
I'm just watching your screen, mate. I'm on Twitch.
Oh, well.
But yeah, it seems like it could have been excessive wheel spin. I can English, I promise. Excessive wheel spin from the start that caught him out. That's just a sad start, honestly. That's just sad to happen at the start, especially when you're leading in the drivers' championship.
Yeah, and at the
And
moment.
for Red Bull as a whole, yeah, at the moment, and for Red Bull as a whole,
Yeah.
the whole race has just come undone. They're sitting in 9th and 10th right now. Well, Mercedes is at 2nd and 7th, so Mercedes winning it right now.
Yeah,
For now.
with Striker sitting in 2nd place, that's obviously a lot of points heading towards the driver standings, and Penguin only scoring 1 as it stands. And as I said, I think it's about a 30-point gap. That gap will be gone at the end of this race if it stays like this. And
Yeah, that gap will be just destroyed going into the next race. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure there will be more safety cars coming in and out. I don't know if there's rain on the radar, but if there is, that will also change things up a lot. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
and
As I said, I think Penguin will try to catch them out with strategies, but yeah, that's just a guess at this point.
And Vlad, from what we've seen this season, obviously Labadane and Penguin work very well as teammates, and you'd assume Labadane's not going to be holding up his teammate here.
No, we'll probably see some team orders. I don't think we'll see any during the safety car. It can be done by just one driver going off track. It's a risky strategy when all the cars are closed up though. So if they do want to do it, they have to be very careful about it. But I'm gonna guess we'll see it just after the safety car restart when the races start to settle down. Yeah, it will. I doubt they'll hold each other up for very long, if at all.
I think that rule's actually been gone now. I don't think you can do that anymore, Vlad. After the Italy race, I think the rule's been changed, so you can't move out your way under the safety car.
Oh,
I think Edgend was going to change it. I'm not sure if he did, but I think it was a plan to change. But in terms of other people's performance at the moment, obviously Thunderfox sitting up in P6, running set of medium tyres. His mediums will obviously be, if he's warmed them up correctly, at the safety car restart, his mediums will be so much quicker than those hards. Obviously, no DRS until 3 laps after the safety car. But we could see Thunderfox make up a few positions, and we know he's quick, but has he got a race? Maybe today is his chance. He likes street circuits. He got a podium in Monaco. Maybe today is another opportunity for him to get another podium.
Yeah. Obviously, P6. He hasn't dropped back since start. I don't think has
No,
he.
I think he's stayed the same. I don't think he's moved from his original position. I can check for you. No, he's stayed exactly where he is. Ramon's made up 2 places, but Thunderfox has stayed exactly where he was.
That's the bare minimum for what you want on the race start. Stayed in the exact same position. 'Cause, I mean, obviously you want the game positions, but the last thing you want is to lose positions or even drop out the points that we saw Penguin. But yeah, obviously he does have the pace. Can he make the most of it throughout the rest of this race? He's got 26 laps to do it. Probably when the safety car comes in. But will that be enough for him?
Well, let's hope so. We're going to get some interesting races. 2 DNFs at the moment, Hynut and LDW colliding on the final corner after Hynut, I believe, spun and LDW went into the side of him. I believe that's what happened.
Speaking
yeah.
of LDW, on the chat, LDW calls for a ban on the RB boys. I think he lost his front wing to one of them in the spin.
Well, we
Just
will.
asked to keep the stuff like that just into tickets and things like that. If you are affected in something in the race, then just don't do it publicly. Just put it in the tickets, and the stewards will decide it for you.
Well said,
Yeah.
Vlad. Well said. But it's on lap 5 here. The safety car is coming in, and we're about to see the Singapore Grand Prix get back underway with Jacob leading away from the line. He's on the medium set of tyres, 4 laps run on these tyres, but pretty much they've only been running under 1 racing lap. Striker Boy in 2nd place. We'll try and get the jump on him, but those hard tyres will not be easy. And I thought Jacob had gone already, but no, he hadn't. Still warming up the tyres. Pockets in P3, looking to take on any advantage that happens in front of them. And I think Jacob still hasn't gone. He's still waiting, trying to catch Striker Boy out here. I'll watch on board from Striker Boy as the race will be back underway
He's gone
shortly.
now.
And he's gone. And he's gone. Oh,
He's
and he's had a massive
in the
spin.
wall!
Oh, he's in the wall. And that's a huge mistake from Jacob as he's warming up his tyres. He's caught it, I think, in 3rd clear. He's got 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits after having a spin. It's all kicked off the start of the race. Striker Boy leads. Pockets in 2nd. Then comes MKL being attacked by... MKL attacking Pockets. Ramon attacking. Thunderfox going as well. Juno in 6th. Rota 7th. Penguin and Labadane in 8th and 9th. And Fake running in P10 attacking Labadane. That was a huge mistake from Jacob.
As well. Jacob in the wall again, I think. Yes, he's in the wall again.
And Jacob...
He's still going. He's still moving, but even more last of the runners now. From P1, he just misjudged the amount of speed he has coming through the final corner, starting the race.
Yeah,
And he's ended up in the rear of the pack.
And Dragon has left the session. Is he still? Is he just a DC?
I think he's
or
just a
did he
DC at the
crash out?
moment. But,
He is still driving.
But Penguin...
I think Snacks just overcooked his tires coming out of that corner and misjudged the pace he had.
He's still spinning. He's spun again.
And he retires.
And, yep, he retires. That's such a disappointment for him. Starting.
And Snacks
Well,
wins.
yeah.
And so Penguin, that does promote him up into P8, but it did promote Striker Boy up into P1. So Penguin now needs a shift on because that is a 25-point swing happening very shortly if Penguin doesn't start making up some positions. He's currently running in P8 ahead of his teammate. Fake is under a bit of... Fake is putting a bit of pressure on Labadane. Oh, Penguin has a bit of a snap there on the steering wheel. He's coming out the final corner now. He's run a bit wide there, not to, be under pressure. I don't think Labadane's going to put his teammate under any pressure because obviously they're teammates and one's fighting for a world championship and one is not. But if we have a look through the order, Thunderfox still pushing pressure on Ramon. Ramon had a great restart, by the way, now running in P4. MKL running in the podiums just behind Pockets, and he might actually have a go here. No DRS enabled, but he might not need it as he pulls to the outside, goes down the inside, of Pockets and takes P2 away from the Alpine driver. Pockets not thinking about a move up the inside, and Fake has also got himself ahead of Labadane in the Red Bull. And Alonso Thunder has squeezed his way through Dragon Lolly, and that is your new grid order. But Striker Boy, has he checked out of this Grand Prix? 2 seconds ahead?
It's impressive, considering where he was at the start of this race. Doesn't look like MKL has the pace to keep up with them. And Pockets losing out of position to MKL, but still staying in the podium.
And Penguin
Doing
and,
good for the Alpine team.
Penguin and Rotor, sorry to interrupt, are battling wheel to wheel. Rotor on the inside now, Penguin on the outside. Will he risk going all the way around the outside? He won't, but he does the switchback of dreams. And Penguin gets the exit out of the corner he needs. Rotor's still on his inside though, as they still go wheel to wheel. Rotor trying to hang it around the outside, but he can't. Fake looking to get interested now. Penguin up into P7, and there's an interesting battle that's going to be happening very shortly. Penguin has got to overtake Striker Boy's teammate and longtime friend Juno, and he's not going to let him past easily.
Bit of team fighting there, not good for the Constructors Championship, which I think they are P2 in now? Or is that... No, it's Red Bull, isn't it?
As Red Bull, Mercedes are in P3,
3.
but if
Still not a bad position
Juno's,
for them.
if Juno's got a chance to hold up Striker's main championship rival, he's going to do it, isn't he?
Yes.
Most definitely.
I had to do that before for Gaffer in season 3. But yeah, he will be putting up as much as fight as he can. Still got a bit of time to wait before we can see that.
Because I think
But
Rotor
he
wants
is
to go back.
within DRS now.
And Rotor goes all the way around the outside. He thought about it, but there was not room there around the outside. Fake looks for a move up the inside. You don't see many moves there. He almost loses the car, actually, as a Scrub is battling with Alonso Thunder. Thunder going wide there, not being allowed through. But MKL just closing in on Striker Boy. Now, MKL and Striker Boy, these actually have a bit of history. These two, in another racing league, went down to the wire in Brazil, and Striker Boy beat MKL to the championship by 3 points in Brazil after MKL failed to score and Striker Boy won the race. So there's a bit of bad blood between these two, and it's going to be some interesting battles, I'm sure.
Yeah, we would see that when they start a fight, if they do start a fight, sorry.
And Pocket's still trying to keep interested on MKL, but Ramon is definitely pushing him through the corners. Thunderfox, once again, is just hanging on to that DRS range, and Penguin is now within DRS of Juno. Penguin, again, he wants to get past Juno, but he can't afford any stupid mistakes, can't afford a dive bomb. He needs to get past him cleanly, or it could be a DNF, and that will definitely be a 25-point swing, and he does not need that.
Yeah, the thing about Singapore though, dive bomb is often the only way you can get past. So that might be something he has to resort to if he decides that he can't get past fast enough. Of course, he will have DRS going down the straight. He's not got too much DRS to play with. He isn't using it at the moment. He won't be close enough for a move in here, especially isn't the tightest of braking zones. But across the next DRS zone and probably over the next lap, we'll see these two start to fight, and hopefully Penguin won't get too desperate for the position, because he has got the rest of the race to go. We haven't even reached halfway yet, so he's got plenty of time to get past here, but I don't think Juno will be very kind to him.
And
Yeah, it's all about patience and waiting for Juno to make a mistake for Penguin at this point. If he keeps the pressure on, he will slip up Juno.
And Red, if
Juno also makes a mistake there as well.
if you're in Penguin shoes here, do you say, you know what, I'm going to keep the P7 and move on to the next Grand Prix, or you're the racer, you want to go for Juno, don't you? You want to try and get ahead of him.
I'd say he'd try to get ahead of him. There's laps left in the race. There's pit stops left as well. I'm pretty sure he'll try to go for the position as high up as he can.
I think Juno is playing the team game quite successfully here, because he's definitely not pushing to his heart's desire. I think he's backing Penguin up. Rotor is still in DRS range, and it's a dangerous game to play, the backing up game, because if it doesn't work out, you just left yourself so vulnerable for a DRS attack, and this is what Penguin's going to be lining up for as we come through turn 3 and then into turn 4. Penguin will have DRS. He will also have ERS to play with. Juno has ERS to defend. He's using it at the moment, and we're going down the main straight here. Juno keeping to the inside, doesn't want to let Penguin have any scraps at all, and he stays behind him again on lap 10 here. Rota is also behind, followed by Fake, who's still pushing on those medium set of tyres. Thunderfox has started to drop back from Ramon as well on those medium sets, so keep an eye on that. This is the main battle we're watching at the moment, Penguin versus Juno, and Penguin takes a very tight line through that corner, trying to get as much pressure on the Mercedes as he possibly can. He's going to have to find a way, and he dives down the inside. Juno not going to give him the space he needs. Penguin, a bit of a half move there from the Red Bull driver. He can't afford a broken front wing or a broken wheel. He needs to keep it in. And I think, is that a spin for one of the Red Bulls behind?
Yeah, it looks like he's losing positions very, very quickly, so it must be. Obviously, yellow flag as well, showing that. He has recovered, so it was either a very, very quick spin or just a big snap velocity and you couldn't get out of the corner very well.
And Penguin is still on the back of Juno here. Juno is still backing him up into Rota, and Striker Boy still leading by about 1.3 seconds, but Penguin has got a really good chance here. Good opportunity to get past Juno into turn 1. Can he do it? Down the inside into turn 1. He's not going to risk it on this occasion. He's going to wait for the second DRS zone. Doesn't want to rush into a move here. MKL has pulled into DRS range of the Mercedes of Striker Boy. But Penguin must be getting frustrated in that Red Bull cockpit. He just wants his position, but Juno doesn't want to give it to him. DRS.
Saw that move there. As you can see, he's getting a bit desperate already, but he just left himself too vulnerable on the exit because it is such a tight corner with. It's very slow as well because the corners that are before it. And he's left himself too vulnerable, and taking the wide line is actually much faster around there because it's simply that tight.
Yeah, and Penguin's good at keeping a very tight apex, a very tight turning line right around here, going up to the bridge and beyond. As you can see, he catches up quite close to Juno. Just look at that, going onto the bridge. So yeah, I think there's a move coming soon.
And Juno's.
Juno did go a little bit not a wide line you could have taken there. It won't be too vulnerable because not a big straight here, but maybe Penguin with DRS down the pit straight. If he gets a good exit coming out the final corner, he is very, very close to Juno still. He has been for the past couple of laps, almost in the back of him there. But I think the DRS straight here, the pit straight, will be his next chance, and if not, it'll be the straight after that with DRS.
Juno is lacking on DRS usage. Thunderfox gets the first time penalty of the top 6. And here it is. This is surely the chance now. Juno defends as aggressively as he can, but down the inside goes Penguin when it goes a bit deep. Can Juno come back at him here? He will have the second DRS straight. The Mercedes driver, he probably was behind before the detection zone, but I imagine Penguin will dump all his battery and Juno won't be able to keep up with him. Penguin makes the move on lap 12 unless Juno has any chance of pulling back under DRS, but he doesn't at the moment. And he brakes late, but not late enough, as finally Penguin on lap 12 gets his man, but he's lost a lot of time behind Juno there. Juno put out a stout defence, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Penguin is now 3 seconds behind Thunderfox, who will probably be who might also defend the position quite aggressively since he does need the points at the moment. Just put himself in a better position in the championship after all the points he's lost from his races. And did I see a little bit of rain? I'm seeing a little bit of rain come down here, I think.
And there is rain falling here at Singapore. I can see it on the visor cameras. So rain is arrived at Singapore, and that's going to spice the race up to no end. MKL has finally hit the DRS range of Striker Boy, so that's going to be a battle brewing in a few minutes. Juno is still in DRS range of Penguin, but I think Penguin unfortunately has the more raw pace than Juno. And MKL just dropping out of DRS range there. It makes sense now why everyone started on the hard set of tyre and mostly on the medium, because they must have known rain was coming. Obviously, up in the comp box, We don't have
Juno's pulled in the pits.
and Juno pulls into the pits here on lap 13. Is he going for a set of intermediates? And it is a
He
set of
is.
intermediates. That is a very early call for a set of intermediate tyres. Is there a plan
That's
there
really
from
cool.
Mercedes? DRS is disabled. It's a brilliant move from Juno. It's already so wet, and the rain has come down here. As Red was saying, the rain comes down so quickly here at Singapore. There's no drainage, and there is already a intermediate tyre. Scrubs retired from the session. Is that a full safety car?
That is a crash. And
Is
that is a massive, massive play from Juno. Even if it wasn't coming down so fast, it gives him the advantage, but it's coming down so fast. It's put him on the right tyre this early. If he can get close enough to the cars ahead,
During the safety
even
car
the
gaps,
current
yeah.
leaders, he might be leading this race.
I think he's definitely leading the race, because everyone in front of him is like out right now, and there's a safety car, so he's definitely leading the race going into the next
He
few
can
laps.
if he can just get some speed between those safety car lines, and it's really come down the rain here. Look at the visor cameras now from MKL. The rain has come down. Will it be what they want, or will it completely change up the aspect of this race? Juno's just coming through over the bridge now as almost MKL just almost slides straight into the barrier. I think Striker might have actually hit the barrier. He's very slow through that corner. Is that a Red Bull? Is that a Red Bull round of Penguin?
Oh, disappointment
dropping.
for him.
Penguin's dropping. Yeah, he did spin around, I think.
And Striker missed the pit entry as well, but he's got back into it now. And people are in the pits. I think actually, unfortunately for Juno, the safety car came out at the wrong time for him. I don't think he's going to jump anyone.
Although he may keep positions that he might have lost.
He will get ahead
I
of
think
Penguin.
he will get a few people.
He will get ahead of Penguin, which will completely frustrate the Penguin after that spin. Front wing change for Ramon as well. So Striker Boy coming down the pit straight now. He's just gone out of the pits. So has MKL. Pockets is just trundling down the pit lane. Juno is coming around the final corner.
He can start pushing now, though. The Delta is no
Yeah.
longer on, so he'll pass a lot of cars
And Juno, here he
in this
comes.
straight.
Down the pit straight. Will he get ahead of Ramon for P4? He might do into turn 1. And he has, I think. And he has got into P4. And that is a masterstroke from Mercedes. Juno into P4. Striker keeps the lead of the race. Penguin is now down to P10. Once again, he's behind more cars. And in the wet, he's not going to have any DRS. This is going to be so tricky now for the World Championship leader.
Yes, but it's also rain. There will be crashes. There will be DNFs. You already saw two. But yeah, I'd say it's gonna be a tricky one. Just keep. The key right now is just keep their calms and see what happens.
And Labadane here, is he put on a set of full wet tyres?
Is he predicting more rain?
Well,
That's a very aggressive strategy for him.
it's very heavy. The rain looks very heavy, but obviously, unfortunately, at the commentary box, it's impossible for us to tell what is happening with the rain. Weather Rider, it might get dry later in the race. I've done Singapore races where it's gone wet, dry, wet, dry. It could completely change about, and maybe Lavadane has pulled out the miracle while putting on a set of wet tyres. He's 23 seconds behind P11. It's so important now for drivers to get temperature in their tyres. We're going to have a look at Labadane here and see how he's struggling slightly there on that set of full wets. Obviously, if the track isn't ready for full wets, then it won't matter because they're just going to overheat.
5 DNFs around the streets of Singapore. Not many, actually, no, only 2 of them have been involved in an incident. The rest of them have just crashed out themselves. Shows difficult nature of this track, and we'll probably see a lot more coming in the very near future with the rain now coming down and what could possibly be heavy enough rain to go to wet.
Yeah, well, one driver predicting full wets. All the rest decided to stay on the intermediates. Obviously, we lost LDW and High Nut towards the start of the race, which caused the first safety car. So they collided into each other. Jacob crashing after the safety car restart. overheating his tyres, slamming into the wall. Alonso Thunder and Scrub, I both believe, crashed under the wet conditions when it wet to wet. But the rain's still falling here, and it looks really heavy, Red.
It does. It looks quite heavy. We're not at speed right now, but even then, it the track looks very, very wet. I'd say Labudane might have gotten the right call, going on full wets. As we can see the spray on Pocket's camera right now from MKL. Yeah, I'd say it's a 50-50 between inters and wets for me.
Well, this is a very interesting turn of events here. Obviously, Jacob had the lead at the start. Then he spun, hit the wall. Striker Boy took the lead. Penguin dropped down to out of the point at the start of the race, got past Juno, then spun under the wet conditions, pitted on set of inters. He's now in P10. Labadane spun as well. He's now onto a full set of full wet tyres because he believes the track will get to full wet conditions. Striker still leads from MKL from Pocket. Juno with a masterstroke of a strategy, pitting a lap earlier than everyone else did, jumping at least 4 or 5 cars, now sitting in P4. Ramon had a front wing change and is still in the top 5. And Thunderfox, somehow, still P6.
Just seems to be his natural position for this race, not changing since the start for half the race distance. Good consistency. He's obviously been missing that. But that is a good result so far. Maybe we can see him making positions. We don't know. I don't think we really know who's strong in the way around any track really. I think that's gonna show who'll shine though.
I think we've only had one wet race this season. That was in Portimao, a race that you watched. Obviously, you commentated on, but I don't know who was strong around Portimao. I know Striker was doing quite well, but I can't really remember.
Neither can I, to be honest.
But it's going to be it's a long safety car here because the Aston Martin of Shady is just come over the bridge now. It's going to be out for another lap, and if the rain is continuing to fall as it has been just now, obviously when the rain is falling on an F1 circuit and the cars aren't driving around at full racing conditions, the spray doesn't, the water doesn't get removed from the circuit. It stays the same. So if it is fully raining right now, then it will completely change the race. And Fake, has he spun or has he pulled into?
And he's lost his front full wing.
He has lost his front wing. He's pulled into the pits there, and was that?
Is he going on the wets though? Will he be going on the wets?
Well, I think it was a
Because he's
mistake.
going in the pit lane.
I think I think he's going on the wets. I think he felt like the car is not too stable on track with the inters right now, so he might be going for the wets.
No, it looks like another set of intermediates, just a front wing change, so just a mistake from Fake there, putting him down the grid. So he's got to catch the safety car now. The safety car will be in this lap. It only comes out for 3 laps. As Vlad, obviously you're a driver yourself, driving in Tier 1. As a driver yourself, a chaotic race like this, when you're the race leader, do you prefer it, or do you think I just want to focus on my own race? There's so much chaos going around.
I wish I knew what that felt like. The only time I've actually led a race was actually in Singapore about a year ago, I think. Or I beat Mr. Man in P13. Gonna mention that one again. Yeah, but that was. I didn't lead for very long even then, and when I did, Fake got crashed out pretty much the next corner after I overtook him. So I didn't really have much pressure because the cars behind us were just a tad slower than us, and I was gaining on him for the rest of the laps. So after I overtook him and took the lead, it was quite an easy win after that.
Well, I think Striker will be glad to see that his main championship rival is currently P9. Obviously, his teammate running in P4 is really good, and the safety car on lap 16, heading on to lap 17, is coming in this lap. As Striker said, we're only at half race distance here, and there's still a lot to be decided. This is the third final round in this season, with Striker Boy chasing Penguin's 30-point gap at the top of the table. He needs this 25 points, and he needs Penguin to stay exactly where he is. Penguin's got some overtaking to do, and he's got to make sure, as Red said earlier, just got to keep it on the circuit. Striker Boy will not want to do what Jacob did at his safety car restart. He want to keep all four wheels heading in a straight direction. As we head onto lap 17, the safety car is pulling into the pits. Striker Boy looking for a late restart like Jacob did, and he's gone now. As we come through the final corner, Striker Boy leads, followed by MKL, as MKL, then Pockets, then Juno. Juno getting a great restart here, and he's already ahead of the Alpine driver into turn 1, wheel to wheel with Pockets. Juno jumping into P3. That is a brilliant move from the Merc driver. He now chases down MKL. Ramon in P5, but he's had a bad exit. Thunderfox is putting him under pressure. Rota in P7. Ramon and Thunderfox going wheel to wheel. They've collided there. Dragon also running in P8 now. Penguin's really struggling on the restart here. Pickle Rick also struggling. Fake now gets ahead of him. Labadane not liking those wet tyres by the looks of it. Not time for wets just yet.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers will be looking at Labadin's time and see how he's performing. We've seen he has the pace. He won in his debut race in France, but I think once the drivers start to see that he's getting good lap times and overtaking cars, that's when drivers will start to switch to wet. And he loves the advantage for a small amount of time, probably about half a lap, where drivers are waiting to pit.
And Fake and Penguin having a bit of a bash there, and it's put Penguin down the order into P11. And Penguin now out of the points. I don't think he's got any front wing damage, but that seemed like very clumsy between those two drivers, Red.
Yeah, they seem to be like on edge at this point, honestly. Fake seems to have gathered himself back again, overtaking Pickle Rick on the bridge. Oh, there's
And
Red
Rota is out, and it's another
Wow.
safety car. And it's another full caution here with Rota hitting the wall. We've seen that happen so many times before previously. Penguin now back in the points once again. He might just get a point just because there's there's less than 10 runners.
Yeah, that's
that's all I did last season, honestly. Just hope for less than 10 runners by the end and to keep it on track.
So
But yeah, looks like Penguin might finish in the points, if not better.
Fab's pulling a bit for the Inters. He
Yeah.
decided that the advantage that he will have is not enough for competitive advantage he'll have for the amount of time he'll have to wait until it's right for the wets.
yeah, he's abandoned that idea. He's also got no front wing. So that's definitely an abandonment of that idea. Front wing goes on for Labadane. So Striker Boy still leads. He was a bit under pressure towards the end of that restart from MKL. Juno jumped Pockets brilliantly off the start, and it's now a double podium for Mercedes-Benz. They'll be looking to make that a Merc 1-2.
Yeah, Mercedes are the big winners in this race. Going one, Juno qualified much lower down the table, but now they're running 1 and 3. So yeah, it's a big win for Mercedes.
So with only 12 runners left in this race, Penguin is still somehow running in the points. He's had a pretty awful race, to be honest with you. It's not been a race to remember, and he knew that coming into this Grand Prix, he had that 30-point gap. But the important thing was he just had to, have a clean race, not do anything stupid. He didn't have a great first lap, obviously losing positions off the start with the hard tyres. He didn't have a brilliant middle to the race. Was held up by Juno, and then obviously the Inter stint happened, and it just seems to have all gone wrong for him today, Red.
Yeah, I think it went wrong for both Red Bull and Alpine, honestly.
Yeah, Alpine also.
Yeah, they like right now, as I just mentioned, Mercedes are the big winners. They're gonna get 40 points coming out if they come out with this. If this is the last that we see of great changes, which probably won't be it. Oh, there's a big oversteer for Juno, but he gathered himself well.
So,
but yeah, if they're bringing up 40 points in this race right here, they're going up on the constructors standings as well.
Exactly. So I was just having a look at the table. If it stays like it is, as it stands, as Pockets, has he pulled into the pits there for a set of full wet tyres? We'll have a quick check of that. And Pockets is doing that. He's trying the full wet strategy now. And I wonder if it's at that point for full wet tyres. The track is looking worse than it did a few minutes ago. But in terms of the driver's standings, as it stands, Penguin will score 2 points. Striker will score 25. So Striker was on 71 and Penguin was 108 going into this weekend. Striker with his 25 points as it stands will put him on 96. And it will put Penguin on 110, and that is a massive gap wiped out as there's 2 races left after Singapore.
Yeah, that's just what Striker would have needed. Penguin just in the points and him leading the race. But I wonder if Penguin can recover what he's lost about 4 times now.
Yeah. And also, as Red was saying, 40 points going the way of Mercedes will put them top of the top of the constructors' standings, and that is
And by
huge.
quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
From a 20-point deficit to a 20-point advantage.
Yes, exactly. And Juno, we were mentioning in qualifying, he needed to be close to his teammate. He's been on it from the start of the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah, he's
He
just
just
really
flipped
shown
the
himself in the race.
He just flipped the switch. He's not Mr. Saturday. He's Mr. Sunday today.
Now, the interesting thing here, Pockets has tried the full wet tyres. I suppose he's got nothing really to lose. He was sitting in P4, and I wonder if he thinks it's still going to get worse. So Striker Boy lines up for another restart. He's currently in P1, followed by MKL, and then Judo. Ramon in P4, with Thunderfox a few tenths behind in P5. Then comes Dragon, Fake, Pickle, Penguin, and Shady, your top 10 Labadane, and Pocket 11th and 12. Pocket's your last runner, as there's only 12 runners left in this Singapore Grand Prix. Lap 19, heading on to lap 20. Striker almost hits the wall there before his restart. That would have been quite the error as we're going to begin. And I wonder if the Inters aren't running as well as they were a few minutes ago. So,
Or it could have been just a low speed going on. He's trying a slow restart again, which I don't think it's a good idea on this much rain.
and it does get on the way here, and MKL very slippery there on his set of tyres, almost getting attacked by Juno at the start of the race. As we head into turn 1, it's Striker who still leads from MKL, who's having a bad restart here, and I think the track is ready for full wets. They're all sliding around on this set of intermediates. Pockets is trying to gain his advantage while he's got it.
He's got the grip here, it looks like.
And
I
Pockets,
think Labdin would be kicking himself if it turns out that wet's the right tyre now, because he's only... Oh, sorry. Shady, obviously you're in Pockets there, and Pockets has lost that position to Labdin, but yeah. Labdin kicked himself if it turns out that wets are the right tyre for now, because he obviously only went back on the Inters when
Yeah,
the
but
safety car came in.
Yeah, but he just misjudged.
Oh,
the
Dragon's in the
timing
wall!
of the full wets.
Dragon's in the
Still
wall,
moving?
and he lost his front wing. Penguin's really struggling here. He's now 2 seconds behind Fake. I think the track is full wet, and I think they're all trying to hang on to the Inters. Pockets has got to make this advantage count. It's another safety car here in Singapore, and we can't seem to stop having them.
So
Yeah,
it makes the strategy a bit boring now.
Yeah, this looks like a proper thunderstorm, honestly.
And that might be
This
why
looks
the safety
very
car's out.
wet.
And
It's a bit disappointing for the strategy, because we could have seen probably a bit of swapping around in the pit lane with all the drivers going in. And as well, Pocket's going probably back into P1. Oh, sorry, in the P1.
he will take
But
the lead of the
safety car sort
race.
of ruined that.
If the track is now ready for full wets, but the question, I'm sure, on my lips and your guys' lips and everyone watching, is if the track goes back to Inters, is anyone going to risk it? The safety car might be out for a few laps. It might get better in those few laps, or it could get worse. It's really a lottery of what you want to do here.
Yeah, I think most drivers will just take the most obvious option and go for the wet tyres, but that can happen, and it will affect all drivers equally. almost.
And no
So I
one,
don't think it's too much
No
of a
one
risk.
goes in for the
no one's
kills.
pitting.
This is surprising, honestly.
Everyone still thinks
I'd
it's
expect full
intermediates.
wets. Yeah, I'd expect full wets by now because it's better to like stay on track
Yeah.
with full wets than spin out behind the safety car.
There's literally puddles forming on the circuit. It's full wet conditions here at Singapore, and everyone thinks, you know what? Let's stay on 7-lap-old intermediate tyres. And
I
it's going to
think
benefit
Pocket's getting a
Pockets
little bit
here.
disappointed as well. Yeah, I think Pocket's getting a little bit disappointed, waiting for the drivers to come in, and just none of them have. Minus Shade, no Shady hasn't come in either.
So maybe they know something we don't. Maybe the track's going to get better, but it's going to have to get a lot worse to get a lot better. The track's got to drain away. It's not going to be gone in 2 laps. The safety car driver is getting his money worth today, that's for sure.
He'll be on. He'll get an overtime money now. Oh God,
And
bad cough.
he's almost died, Vlad, there from coughing. Well,
We do have 11 runners now, so pretty much an almost perfect points finish for everyone who finishes.
almost everyone will score a point. So it will help Penguin. Penguin now in P7, of course. But this race still got another 10 laps to go here at Singapore. And if Penguin's day is going to change, well, this race might just help him. There's only one chance he won't score a point unless obviously another DNF happens. Safety car, will it be in this lap or will it be next lap? I think it's going to be next lap. I think we're going to have it for another
Looks like
lap.
it's gonna be next lap, yeah. But yeah, if Penguin's day changes for the better, it has to be now. There's not a lot of time left.
Does feel worse. Does feel worse than Spa in terms of safety car, which is an impressive thing to do. But I'm surprised we still haven't seen any drivers come in the pits for the wets. Does look like the rain is backing off a little bit, but some parts of the track it just looks very wet. Of course, we still have pockets to look at in terms of pace, because it doesn't matter if you're slow or fast. If you're on the right tire in conditions like these, it'll show.
So the main issue here is obviously if the track does drain away, I think Shady is taking the opportunity to pit under the safety car for a full wet set of full wet tyres. If it drains away, which it could drain away as quickly as it came onto the circuit, but obviously as we've said, the drainage isn't as good around here. But just a new set of inters for Shady, not going for a set of full wet tyres, just a new set of intermediate tyres. Again, a brand new set of inters can be rapid on a drying track. So if the track is beginning to dry, I can't really tell. It's still raining quite heavily. Probably not as heavily as it was a few minutes ago, but it is definitely still raining. And it's a classic Singapore Grand Prix, isn't it? We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rain seems to have lightened up quite a bit, honestly. We probably won't see a full dry track, but I think the rain might stop for the last like 5 laps, maybe.
Well, even that, yeah, the rain is still going, but if you look at the track, there is sort of on the racing line. Obviously, if you go offline, it's death. But the racing line is starting to clear up in terms of actually drying up. Obviously, it's not dry at all yet, but there is a racing line beginning to appear. The safety car probably will be might be out for another lap actually, because Shady's pit stop. I do hope it isn't, because obviously we don't want to be having behind the safety car
No,
the
he'll
entire
catch up in
race.
time. Yeah, he's already up to the back of the field now. I mean, he's got this exit to catch up to them before they get into sector 3, and it looks like he's already on the edge of the pack here.
I think Striker just backing the pack up as well, just to make sure it begins under lap 22. And the safety car is in this lap, and once again, we begin a restart with Striker Boy. Will he change his restart style, or will he go for the slow start again? He does seem to like the slow start, Red, and you're not a fan of it yourself.
Nah, not really. The slow start just makes me anxious, honestly, when I'm driving. I don't want to drive into the back of someone else. But yeah, he looks like he's going back for a slow start again.
I'm on the onboard with MKL. He's like, very close to strike point. It was last safeguard restart. The only made contact about 5 times, and they've always made contact again. And again as well. He gets right up to the back of him, basically scraping his gearbox. That's so the only hope that there isn't contact between the two. He is trying to keep as much an advantage as he can, but at what point does it become not worth it?
And look
I'd
at
say at this point, exactly.
and Striker goes there, and we're back under racing conditions. And it's not the brilliant exit that MK would have wanted, but it's not a brilliant exit for Juno either. Pockets gets overtaken by Shady. Coming out the final corner, Pockets is abandoning the full wet tyres, which means it is still intermediates. So that's ruined his race for Alpine, and that's definitely going to lose them their spot in the constructors' standings. So Juno on the oldest set of tyres here, followed by Ramon in P4. Then comes Thunder Fox, then Fake, then Penguin still running in the points, then Pickle, then Labadane, and then Shady just trying to challenge Labadane here. Obviously the newest set of intermediate tyres on the grid. But MKL just trying to put a bit of pressure on our race leader here. Juno looking to try and put a bit of pressure on MKL to protect the race leader. Oh, I think Juno's got a little tag in the back from Ramon there. Juno's kept it going, but that was definitely a hit from Ramon.
Yeah, that looked like a hit. He seems to have like become a passenger. But yeah, that definitely was a hit.
Yeah,
So,
still very close to Juno. Sorry, to Striker Boy here. He has lost a little bit of time through the technical sector. Maybe Striker Boy's quite strong through there, but if he can make up time on the exit, which he can't do at the moment. He did make up time. He didn't make enough time for a move, but over the next few laps, can he have the pace to overtake Striker Boy for the lead of this race for the win?
the win, which wouldn't be what Striker or Mercedes want. Obviously, Labadane still only P7. Sorry, Penguin only P7 as it stands, and it will still score him good points, Striker. It will bring it down to about a 10 or 15 point deficit, which is exactly what he needs heading into the final two races. Fake gets past Thunder Fox in a brilliant spot, as Penguin is now challenging Thunder Fox. Penguin need that sort of P6 finish if he wants a chance at getting position. Thunder Fox pulling into the pits here on lap 24. That's a interesting move there. It's not full wets. It's not a set of dries, surely, for Thunder Fox. Keep an eye on
Is
that.
that a win
It's
change?
a wing damage, yeah.
It's a wing
Look,
change,
I'd say it's a wing damage.
and that's a shame. That's a shame for Thunder Fox. He was having such a solid race, but once again, another little problem happens for him. So it's going to probably keep him in. It might just drop him outside of the points, actually.
And he has a penalty as well.
And he's got to serve a penalty. So that is
10
his race
seconds.
over.
I won't be surprised if we see him just crawl in the pits and retire from this race now. There is obviously a chance for another safety car, which I wouldn't be entirely surprised by, considering the track and the conditions and how close the pack still is. But it doesn't look like his chances of any good results very good right now.
So in terms of the front, it's about a second gap between MKL and Striker Boy. Then comes Juno, about 1.6 seconds. Ramon still challenging for that podium finish. Fake currently in P5. Penguin not got a lot of pace here, currently sitting in P6. Not exactly where he'd want to do, but considering the race he's had, I think he'll take a P6 finish. Pickle Rick currently running in 7th with Labadane in 8th, Shady in P9, and then Pockets and Thunderfox bringing up 10th and 11th. Lap 24 of 31 here. The track has definitely got drier, but it's still raining, light rain falling at Singapore, so I don't think we'll be seeing any dry tyres at the end of this race.
There definitely won't be a dry tire session at the end. Yeah.
So Ramon is challenging for the final podium position. Juno has driven a brilliant race to be running P3, so I'm sure him and Mercedes would love a podium finish here. Penguin is just about 1.6 seconds behind Fake. Pickle Rick about 2 seconds behind him. Labadane is challenging for P7. Red Bull need as many points as they can, considering the gap that's going to be forming towards the front of the pack. Shady running in P9, with Pockets only scoring 1 point for Alpine. Thunder Fox not scoring any points as it stands. This is the closest battle on track, Ramon versus Juno. Juno on the oldest set of tyres. He was the first person to set on to the intermediate tyres and has used them absolutely brilliantly. But intermediates do like to wear, but there's been a lot of safety cars. So those tyres may say they're about 12 laps old. They're probably only about 3 laps old in terms of actual racing distance.
Yeah, even just a safety car, running behind a safety car doesn't really wear out tyres that much. All the drivers are weaving quite a bit, but compared with a full speed lap, it doesn't really affect the tyres.
So Striker leads, but only by about 0.6 of a second. MKL really challenging for the first position. Penguin has also closed up to the back of Fake, and if Penguin can pull out a P5 finish, that would be quite the momentous occasion for him, considering the race he's had, considering that he was out of the points at the start of this race. He had spins, he had incidents, and on lap 25 here, if he can finish in P5, I think he'll call that a day and to say, you know what, I'm okay with that.
Is it
Yeah.
fair results for him?
Yeah, Penguin's race has been like that spider in the cave whose web just kept on untangling and just repeated weaving the web. But on the other hand, MKL is pushing for Striker Boy. He has had some oversteers in the rain, sliding around, but he seems to have kept his calm.
He has
Just
done.
doesn't look like MKL has the enough pace to overtake Dunn. He has obviously lost time since the stage car restart. He can keep within just a second through the first and middle sector, but he really starts to lose out on the second half of the second sector and pretty much all of the thirds.
Yeah, obviously no DRS under the wet racing conditions.
Labudine looks to be making a move on Pickle Rick. He was just less than a tenth of a second. They're getting very close.
Just finding it difficult to find a way past here in the wet conditions of Singapore. The rain is starting to ease off here, but on lap 26 of 31, don't expect it to ease off enough for a set of dry tyres. Striker Boy is still leading by about 0.6 of a second as Labadane hits the wall and his front wing breaks. And will he be able to spin it back onto the circuit? There's obviously no one coming. And it's another safety car! Oh, sweet Jesus.
Save us! The track is looking pretty dry, might I say.
Is there no rain? It looks dry.
There is no rain.
Is
Will
it?
we see?
Oh, are we going to see dry
Slick
tyres?
runners.
I don't think we'll see dry tires. I think it will just be a intermediate session with no rain. Honestly,
The question is, will anyone
Turn
risk
the
a
red
set of
wine up.
dries? That's what I want to know. Is anyone say if you're Thunder Fox, say if you're last place, lap 26 31, no rain, track looks like it's drying. You got to risk a set of dries, surely.
Obviously.
You got nothing to lose.
Death. We have a request to turn red wine up a little bit.
A red wine. I need to turn you up a little bit.
I
apparently.
have put myself up at 100% on my end.
Captain speeding as well.
I will turn you up, mate. Sorry, the stream will cut out for a second. I do apologise. It should come back on.
Should.
And a penguin has risked a set of penguin as part of a set of softs.
Oh lord!
He's risking it. He's risking everything.
It's a risk and a half from the Red
He
Bull
went for a
driver.
wing change, but along with that wing change, he decided, and so is Pocket as well.
Pocket
And there's another driver behind, Thunderfox going in for a Slater 6, I think, as well.
Labadane, Penguin, Pockets, and Thunderfox all set for a set of soft tyres.
Oh, it gets interesting.
Either this is going to be a brilliant strategy call for if Penguin can go on to win the Grand Prix after the race he's had this afternoon. It could be the best drive we've seen in Digital Racing Championship, because that is it could be ridiculous. But it doesn't look like it's drying massively at the moment. I don't know if can we. Obviously, Vlad, I've got to watch Striker Boy here at the start of the restart. But is he struggling on those set of softs? What are you seeing from his onboard?
He's getting used to the tires. It looks like he's not really pushing them too hard. He wants to get used to the conditions of the new tires. But comparing the shininess of the track compared to places that are under the bridge, it's so different. The wet sections are really shiny, like really glowing under the lights, and it does not look dry at all. It looks dry coming through Sector 2, but throughout a lot of the track, it just does not look good for a set of slicks.
That Sector 3 does not look ready for slick tyres. I don't know what you think, Red. I think this is...
Yeah, no, it does not look ready for slicks. I could see some spray on Striker Boy's camera from the safety car, which is saying a lot because it's a safety car and with spray from a safety car.
Is that Striker... Are they all pulling in? Striker Boy's been
Striker Boy
disqualified?
disqualified!
What?
Ignoring yellow flag and Mercedes. Oh god.
What yellow flag? How did he get that?
He must have overtaken
happened
the
here?
safety car before he got to the pit lane.
I can guarantee the game told him to overtake the safety car. Or something like that. That's
Oh.
happens. That is a big shift in the dynamic of this race.
Penguin's leading.
From winning.
Penguin's
Penguin
leading now.
now leading the
Penguin's
race!
leading.
Oh my god! And how the turntables, Penguin leading the race from being out of the points probably about 5 times now. And he's probably on track to win this.
He has to be. It's gone to dries. Striker's been disqualified from the race because he overtook the safety car before he got into the pits. Penguin now leads from MKL, Ramon, Fake. Juno's now into P5. There's only 10 runners left in the Grand Prix. Is there going to be... There needs to be some investigation after this race of what happened under the safety car. And on lap 28 of the Singapore Grand Prix, chaos has ensued, but not in the way I thought. Because Striker Boy, who has been leading basically from start to finish, has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags and overtaking the safety car. And onto lap 28 of 31, Penguin is on track for another victory this season. And with 25 points coming Penguin's way as it stands, that could just clinch pretty much the Drivers' Championship.
It's going to be really disappointing for Striker Boy. This was his chance, his big moment to get the pointing, because even though he's lost out P1 to Penguin, he would still be P2 since he was leading the rest of the pack. And we know how easily you can get a good restart, especially in conditions like this, if P1 just messes up the throttle. But a disqualification like that, which I'm sure he was not expecting, I'm sure he didn't know what was going to happen, that's a massive shift.
And it's a shift for the podiums as well. Ramon's onto the podium. Safety car is in this lap on lap 28. We haven't got many laps to go. It's chaos here at Singapore. Nobody knows what is going on.
And Penguin's trying to play the mind games as well.
Penguin trying to squeeze MKL into the wall there. Labadane, I think, has had a spin. But here we go. Under dry conditions, the safety car will restart. It's Penguin who leads from MKL. Then comes Ramon, who's got a brilliant restart. It's already attacking attacking MKL into turn 1. They go wheel to wheel into turn 1, and Fake's gone around the outside. He's off the circuit. He's surely got to give that place back, but he doesn't. Juno in P5, followed by Rick, Pocket, Thunderfox, Shady, and Labadane.
I think Fake had his nose forward, like ahead.
But Ramon
in front
with
of
a 3-second time penalty. That's going to really hurt his race. Fake trying to put pressure on MKL here. This is for second place. MKL still somehow battling for the lead. Can he take the lead off of Penguin? Which would be big in terms of MKL. Would be still big in terms of Penguin. Juno has got past Ramon all the way around the outside. I didn't see the move, but that was brilliant. Juno up into P4. He's not giving up on this podium place. He's worked so hard for it this afternoon. And the top 3 are separated by about 0.3 of a second. It's chaos at like the 7th safety car restart. As MKL's been spun round by Fake. And MKL's down to 4th, down to 5th. What is going on here at Singapore?
Does he
Back to restart. And now Ramon's been surrounded by Juno.
Ramon's down into P5. Pocket's into P6. He's wheel to wheel with Ramon.
And then MKL's going to go down the inside and make contact between him and Ramon. Pocket's lost out on a lot of positions there. No, a very, very nasty dive from MKL. Fake now just trying to catch Penguin. Fake gets a decent exit coming out the final, penultimate corner. Can he get a good exit onto the final straight. We might see the DRS enabled here. Fake with the fastest lap time of 1:42.05.
DRS will be enabled on the last lap of the Grand Prix. MKL is battling with Ram on their wheel to wheel into turn 1. MKL dives down the inside. He gets ahead of him into P5. Fake, on the other hand, is battling
Ramon
for the
hits him.
lead.
Ramon hits MKL. MKL went around, and I think Thunderfox or Pockets hitting the back, and they might have wing damage as
And
well.
Fake
And
and
Fake takes the
Penguin
lead.
are wheel to wheel as they head down the back straight. Juno still interested. Fake all the way around the outside. They don't somehow collide. Penguin down into P2. He's fought his way up into the podiums. He's currently in second. Juno is in third. Juno, if he can still, he might be able to get ahead of him, which would help Striker slightly, take a few points off of Penguin, but not the points that he would want. Fake.
Will this be Fake Singapore redemption after Tier 2?
He might win
Can he keep the lead?
the Tier 2 race. Obviously, DRS will be enabled on the final lap of the race. Fake's got no ERS left. The Penguin has a bit, so does Juno. Juno really pressurising Penguin here. These top three, any of them could come away with the Singapore Grand Prix victory. Lap 30 of 31. Penguin has had an afternoon, well, from the start to forget, but he's now got an afternoon to remember because he's currently running P2 as we head on to the final lap of the race. Penguin's dropped out of DRS range off of Fake. Juno has it. Juno will want to try and get ahead of Penguin. Fake with a 140.41.0. Juno DRS on Penguin. DRS is enabled. Penguin back into DRS range of Fake, but he's now dropped out. Ramon and Thunderfox are battling for P7 here. Can Thunderfox go all around the outside? He's going to try it, but he hasn't got. He's got the understeer and he's gone off the circuit. Juno has DRS, but is too far back from Penguin to really make any major impact.
It does look like this will be Fake's win here. Fake going very, very wide there, gained probably quite a bit of an advantage. Can Penguin just get back in the DRS range? He's got one more DRS opportunity, and that will probably be his final opportunity to overtake Fake here. And Fake seems to have enough pace to just keep Penguin behind. He is still gaining on Penguin. This will be, I believe, Fake's win. Fake's first league win. I think possibly since season 1,
And
back before we even called Digital Racing Championship.
but he went very wide there. It's allowed Penguin to close up within DRS range. Penguin for a last lap charge. It's only the third sector to go. Will Penguin try something ridiculous to take the lead back off of Fake, or will he just consider P2 as a victory in itself?
I don't think he has it. I think it's P2 for Penguin.
And I think Fake will pick up a victory here. It's a chaotic Singapore Grand Prix. It's one to remember for the Haas drivers. He comes through the final corner. Fake wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Penguin somehow finishes in P2. Juno finishes in P3. Pickle Rick P4. Pockets P5. MKL comes home in P6. Ramon P7. Thunderfox will score points in P8. Shady in 9th, and Labadane finishes off in 10th. Or will he actually? He might get Shady here right at the end. I think Shady might have front wing damage, but I think he's just a bit too far ahead. But lads, first of all, can we just say what a ridiculous race that we just saw, and it might have ended the championship challenge there and then.
Yeah, that was really. That was something to watch. That.
It's Singapore. That's all. That's all I'll say.
That's
It's
all you need
Singapore.
to say. We have driver interviews now for your top 3. Your driver of the day, Fake. I don't know how he won that. I don't know how anyone's done what they've done, but that is your top 3 with Fake, Fake Penguin, and Juno. And we will have driver interviews in just a second. Can we bring in? Can we get those 3 drivers into the cool down room for me? But man, that that was a bit ridiculous. So Fake.
Insane.
So Fake, Juno, and Penguin, please, in VC. I'd like to interview P3 if that's okay first. But
None from our VCs.
I'll get Juno in here. Actually, just someone at them, and bring them into the cooldown room. That they'll want to join.
No, I can't make fun of Fake now because he's won the same place that I beat him.
Yeah, I know. They take away everything. But so Red, is your first race that you've watched in Tier 2 this season. Pretty good one to come and watch that one.
Pretty good one.
Yeah, I think
Not a bad race to come back to.
no, exactly.
An exciting one. A rainy one. And overall a Singapore race.
It was.
A proper Singapore race, honestly.
It was a bit mad, to be honest with you. I think all of our hearts go out to Striker Boy, who has been screwed by the game there. That I think I think that was his race win in the bag.
Oh, it was definitely his race win. It was his race win. It was a Mercedes double podium. It was everything for Mercedes. That just went away with that disqualification.
And it's a disqualification that will hurt Striker Boy, I imagine, for the rest of the season. It might have just ended his World Championship challenge there. But we will
I
bring in
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he has trouble sleeping tonight.
Juno first, who I think Juno, correct me if I'm wrong, but your first podium this season, or definitely your first interview with me this season. But
Barring.
Juno, first of all, P3.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't have the best of qualifying. You
No,
had
definitely not.
a ridiculous start.
Yeah,
You
start that.
defended against Penguin to help your teammate for as long as you could. Then you had a brilliant restart on the intermediate tyres and got ahead into P3.
Yep.
Then you switched on a set of soft tyres while your teammate got disqualified by the safety car.
hmm
Then you battled back up into the podium and could have won the race if something had happened in front of you.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy at the end. That was the worst disqualification I've ever seen, and I feel bad for Striker for that because that was undeserved. But the game's the game. I think maybe Fake if he gets a penalty, I might be P2. So that'll be my best finish yet. I could have gone for the win, but Penguin had the lap advantage on the softs, hitting that lap early, so he did really well there. Congrats to him.
Yeah, well, we were watching from the commentary box. Penguin was P11 at the start of the race, and somehow he's come
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about a 25-point swing in the championship, and I think Striker's challenge is over for the World Championship now.
I think he is, and I think I'm only in it for a few points, maybe like 5 points or so. But I think Striker's definitely out of it now.
Well, unless Red, do you have anything to say, or Vlad?
Nope.
Nah, I'm all good.
Well, Judo, first of all, nice to interview you finally.
Mm.
Obviously, clearly that's why you wanted to finish on the podium to have a
Yeah.
chat with us. But the good thing is, you are now, I think, leading the constructor standings, or you're close to leading the constructor standings.
Well, we beat Alpine by 5 points or so.
I think
Red Bull will be ahead of us.
it'll be close
So
between you and Red Bull.
it'll be close,
But
definitely.
thank you, Juno, for joining us. So next race is Abu Dhabi, I think.
Happy,
You
yeah.
looking forward to Abu Dhabi?
To be fair, I think my pace is quite good around there, around the same as Singapore. Not necessarily in qualifying, but I could do well in the race, I think.
Right. Well, thank you, Juno, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we'll bring in. I'm going to call him the luckiest man alive. Penguin, the luckiest man alive. Let's just quickly run through your race today.
Yes.
So qualified P5.
Yes.
Then you had a terrible start, which
Correct.
which started you P11.
Did it not put me further because I had to give away positions because I had an illegal overtake on turn 1?
Yeah, I think you were P11 after that. Then you gained some more positions. Then the wet weather came out and you spun out.
Yes.
So you were out of the points
The
again.
wet weather came out really, really hard.
Yeah, it
like,
was weird.
instantly.
It came out really quickly.
Yes.
And then there was more safety cars.
Yes.
Then you pitted onto a set of dry tyres when we all thought it was still too wet. Then your main championship rival gets disqualified by the safety car.
Yes.
You then end up leading the race, only to lose it to Fake in the last few laps and still finish in second place, which basically, if you get enough points in Abu Dhabi, you've won the World Championship.
Yes.
How did you finish P2?
Mate, my start was so shit. Unbelievable garbage. I put too much throttle, and then instead of abandoning the throttle and I just tried to keep going, I almost spun out on the start. I lost like what, four, maybe more positions just from starting, and then pushed wide by my teammate. But it's a turn one, lap one type situation. Illegal overtake, lose another 2 or 3 positions. I thought it was over, to be honest, because it's too hard to overtake on this track, and it's harder when you don't want to ruin someone else's race and you don't know that if they'll see you coming. There's a very limited amount of overtaking positions, but yeah, that pit onto the softs was definitely a gamble by me, but I was pretty confident that it was going to be dry enough based on whatever bullshit my engineer was spewing. To be fair, if I trusted him the three other times, I would have been worst off. But the one time I decided to say fuck it, let's go, it worked out. So P7 to P1, and then Fake overtook me because he had his big boy pants on today.
Yeah, he was ridiculous quick towards the. I don't know how he won the race, to be honest with you. But yeah, so you had to overtake Judo as well. Obviously, Judo tries to defend you as much as he can to help his teammate.
Yeah.
But I know obviously your championship rivals, but Striker got very much screwed over there. That was his race, and I think the game
Yeah.
screwed him. So
I still would have been first after the pit, I'm pretty sure, but
yes,
he got disqualified, and that's kind of bullshit.
yeah,
Not to say that's extremely bullshit, but yeah, that's really unfortunate for him. I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but yeah, that's just F122 for you.
yeah. So we head into Abu Dhabi with you pretty much guaranteed to win the title unless anything goes catastrophically wrong.
It's happened before.
But I think you've had your catastrophic race. That was this one. Everything that could have
Well,
gone wrong.
Silverstone was worse.
Oh yeah, it's true. Silverstone was bad. I remember Silverstone. But
Yeah,
anyway, Penguin, thank you for joining us. We'll now talk to Fake. So just appreciate it.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Right, and we'll bring in Fake. That is Fake in the cooldown room, isn't it?
Yes. Fork.
So Fake.
Uh,
So the question I have on my lips, Fake, is
Yeah?
how did you win that?
I don't know, man. I'm actually like, I started the race in last after a disaster qualifying where I binned every lap. My qualifying was not great at all. Then we went into the race, and on the first few laps, I was like, I was clearly faster than the people behind because I would have been the midfield if I did my qualifying. So I was way faster than the people down behind, and they were all braking so early. I think I ended up taking out one. I'm not sure, but like they were all braking way earlier than you should be. Then I went to the midfield because I overtook like everyone crashed. Then I was P9, I think, and then I got front wing damage, so I couldn't go further. Then I was lucky with a safety car. Right when I don't know when that was, but I was lucky with a safety car to change my wing, and then I got front wing damage again. And I did like 5-7 laps with the front wing damage. But lucky, then when the rain started to rain, Scrub and my teammate crashed out, so there came a safety car. And when that safety car came out, everything changed because I could go to Inters and change my front wing. So I was back in the game, and I was completely shocked. But then on the safety car, I broke my front wing again.
We saw that. Yes, we thought you tried to get pit for full wets, but you sort of just spun and hit the wall, did you?
Yeah. I was trying to do some wheel spin, get some heat in the tires because we were down to 60 degrees when you're supposed to be 75.
Yeah.
So I then came into the pits. I was lucky the safety car didn't go into that lap. But that changed everything because when I came out on those new Inters, I could do normal racing on my 75 degrees because they had been in the blanking and shit. So I could do 75 degrees racing while everyone else was on 60. So when I catched up, I was on optimal tires and they were on stone cold. So I had so much more grip than everyone else. That was honestly the strat. And then I did one and a half lap of overtaking, and there came another safety car out for the driver that was behind me because he just went straight on because the tires were shit. And yeah, then I was P5, and the track dried out really quickly. I was really surprised. I was like, should I risk it? If I'd risked it, I wouldn't be in the situation I am. Then I went on to the soft tires with everyone else except for Penguin, which then went on to take the lead. Very, very nice strategy for a call from Ripple there. And yeah, then I don't know, put on the softs and I felt great in the tires. I then took on out MKL. I'm fucking sorry about that. I still feel shit about that, and I'll probably
Yeah,
get a penalty.
we did see
And
that, but I think
yeah,
those last few laps, I think Vlad and Red and myself will say that whole race was chaotic from start to finish.
yeah,
Obviously,
but I
it,
mean,
it is
he went.
it is a shame that it happened.
Yeah, he went a bit wide, and I was like, that's gonna be shit, and like I couldn't break enough, and yeah. So it ended up happening that I took him out. I'm really fucking sorry. I'll get a penalty, and I'll definitely get a penalty, and I'll lose. I go down to P3, I think, because I was 5.6 seconds ahead of P4. But then I don't know. Penguin got that front wing damage. I could hear it, and I was like, this is it. And then I saw the lap count of 30 out of 31, and I took the lead on before the last lap. And the only thing going through my head was redemption, because in season 2, Vlad will remember this.
Yeah,
I mentioned it many a time.
he was
Still
talking
do.
about
Yeah,
it earlier. He was actually bragging about
yeah.
it, I think, if I
And
remember.
in season 2, I had a bit of an unfortunate where I was leading the whole race, but then I was taken out into the happen like
Yeah, I
MKL was.
overtook you before that.
No, no, you didn't.
I did. I will go
No.
back and watch that
Right,
replay.
don't argue
Okay.
now. This is
Okay,
this
okay.
is the winners.
But I was not taken out, and oh yeah, actually you did overtake me before. That's right. But I was keeping pace with him, and he ended up getting a penalty after the race. And I basically got killed. So I lost my win because of an unfortunate incident, and the only thing going through my head the last lap was redemption.
Redemption, and redemption
Redemption.
was achieved. I think the other thing, briefly before, because this is a long interview, but briefly, what did it go full wet at one point? Because it seemed like
Um,
people were struggling on those inters. Like we were
yeah,
surprised
they
that not
they
a lot of people
were
pulled in.
they were 58 degrees, but we had 2 people on wets, and I was behind one of them, and I had much more grip than he had, so
Okay.
I assume that wets was not the thing, and my engineer was keep telling me inters, so
Well, Abu Dhabi's next. Penultimate race
yeah,
of the season.
I'm
Uh,
shit at Abu Dhabi.
well, you never honestly, fake after this race, anything can happen, mate. So
Yeah, last to first, let's go.
anyway, thanks for joining us. And hopefully we'll talk to you in Abu Dhabi as well.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Thank you all, man.
That's all right.
Peace.
Right, so lads, let's wrap this stream up. Vlad and Red.
Yeah.
So Vlad first. Vlad, the first thing I want to say is my PC didn't crash, so
Oh,
that was good. So we got a whole stream done. So thanks everyone for sticking with us. The second thing I want to say is that was a chaotic race, probably more chaotic than Monza, which is saying something. And we go on to Abu Dhabi next with no title race. What are we going to hype up, Vlad? We hadn't thought about this.
what's the P2 race like?
I don't think it's any better. We
What's the
could,
P3 race
well,
like?
constructor race, I suppose.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be good.
Constructor race.
Well, also, Red, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Been a pleasure joining you.
You're welcome to join us for the last 2 races as well, if that is what is required.
I like how his lag gave him a voice crack there.
I know it's good, isn't it? But so tomorrow we have tier 1. Vlad and myself will be driving in tier 1. Let's hope it's not as chaotic as that. Actually, no, I kind of hope it is.
I'm hoping for
because
chaos.
I kind of hope it is, because then I might win.
Chaos is fun when I'm not driving.
Exactly. But anyway, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow for Digital Racing Championship Tier 1 Season 4 Round 8 at Singapore. Thank you very much.